For just $7, gotta be Wendy's.
At participating Wendy's for a limited time only. Select a request 2 for $7 deal to redeem. Not valid in a combo or with saucy nugs. Single item at regular price. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
Hi folks, this is Hank Albert, owner of BBC Lighting. At BBC, we sell all the top brands of lights and ceiling fans, such as Visual Comfort, Tech, Schoenbeck Crystal, and hundreds more. We get every brand, and our prices are the lowest. I guarantee it. In our award-winning showroom, you'll also find factory closeouts with lights and fans priced well below their original cost. If it's lampshades or repairs you need, we do all that too. There's something for everyone at BBC, including fun for the kids and our famous free popcorn. We're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, Saturday, 10 to 4, and located at 20th and St. Paul Avenue, across from Sobelman's, near the Potawatomi Casino. Stay safe and healthy, my friends.
You just can't pass on Less is Glass. Find us at lessglassservice.com.
Your trusted and relevant source for news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It's 11 o'clock. I'm Greg Matzek. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Friday, January 24th. Your top story, back in the schools by February.
I'm Jessica Tighe, barred from the Capitol without a court order.
Some morning sun, increasing clouds today, a high of just 19 degrees. Slight chance of some flurries tonight, a low of 17. Mostly sunny on Saturday, a high of 34. It's 11 degrees and sunny in Milwaukee at 11:01 from the WTMJ Breaking Newsroom. A firm deadline for student resource officers in Milwaukee public schools.
A judge ruled Thursday that MPS must place 25 school resource officers across the district by February 17th. MPS has failed to comply with the law since it took effect in January 2024. The judge also denied the district's motion to dismiss a lawsuit filed by an MPS parent and the Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty. A response from MPS says, in part, the court's decision is, quote, a recognition that the city plays an integral role in implementation of the SRO program, end quote. Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
And if they do fail to comply, the district will be required to appear in court.
Schools in the Wisconsin Heights School District are closed today after a potential safety threat. That district is in Mazomanie, which is northwest of Madison. In an email to staff and families, a district administrator says they closed out of an abundance of caution while working with local authorities to investigate.
A Dane County judge extends the pause on striking down Act 10. The Wisconsin State Journal reports that Judge Jacob Frost granted the legislature's motion for a stay pending appeal on Thursday. Frost ruled back in December that several provisions of Act 10 were unconstitutional and unenforceable, specifically regarding collective bargaining rights for public employees. He granted a pause in its implementation 2 weeks later, pending appeal. The case is likely to come before the Wisconsin Supreme Court.
ICE confirms its agents conducted a targeted enforcement operation at a worksite in Newark, New Jersey. The owner of the fish market says agents arrived yesterday unannounced and asked to see documentation of his workers. CBS's Christina Fan.
Newark is considered a sanctuary city, and its mayor is condemning the raid, calling it a violation of the Fourth Amendment. He says the city will not stand idly by while people are being unlawfully terrorized. Surveillance video shows federal immigration agents surrounding Ocean Seafood Depot in Newark on Thursday. According to the business owner, about a dozen ICE agents came in unannounced, asked to check his employee's identification, and ended up taking 3 people into custody.
A federal judge has barred Oath Keepers founder Stuart Rhodes from entering Washington, D.C. without the court's approval. This comes after President Trump commuted the extremist group leader's 18-year prison sentence for orchestrating an attack on the U.S. Capitol 4 years ago. The order comes 2 days after Rhodes visited the Capitol, where he met with at least one lawmaker, chatted with others, and defended his actions during a mob attack on January 6th of 2021. Rhodes was released from Maryland on Tuesday. Time for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Still time to rebound here, but everything in the red this afternoon, or I should say this morning. The Dow Jones currently off about 70 at 44,498. NASDAQ is off about 22 points today, just over the 20,000 mark, and the S&P 500 down just a couple of points today at 6116. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. It's financial planning at every level. For details, visit annexwealth.com.
5 straight for the Milwaukee Bucks. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 11:04.
Our favorite reason to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler? Free service for life with no fine print. That's right. When you buy your engagement ring or any piece of jewelry at Diamonds Direct, you will never have to pay a dime in the future for sizing, cleaning, or routine maintenance. At Diamonds Direct, there's no gotcha clause, no fine print, no looking for ways to void the warranty. Diamonds Direct, the jeweler you can trust with a no questions asked 100% free lifetime warranty with no strings attached. Come see us to learn more.
Reason number 52 to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler. Only Diamonds Direct gives you a 110% diamond upgrade guarantee. Diamonds Direct will give you 110% of your original purchase price toward the new stone. That's 10% more than you paid the first time. Guaranteed appreciation. Who else does this? There's no fine print and no minimum purchase requirement. It's 10% more, period. Buy with confidence. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
If you have the January blues, brighten up your weekend with a great fish fry tonight at the historic Fox and Hound Supper Club. WTMJ's John Merck here. I love the Fox and Hounds, and that cod fish fry is all you care to eat. All other dinners are buy one, get one free, including the pan-fried walleye and steak and lobster. Desserts, and I love the desserts, and huge ice cream drinks are buy one, get one free. Was just in the Fox and Hounds with my family. They absolutely loved it. Sip on an old-fashioned, a Manhattan. Choose from one of the bourbons or 100 fine wines. The Fox and Hounds, right in the heart of the Kettle Moraine Forest. It is a one-of-a-kind gem. The holiday decorations are still up. Thousands of lights, the Christmas characters. It's so much fun. And those 7 wood-burning fireplaces will keep you warm on a cold January night. Saturday, buy one prime rib dinner. Get one free. I recommend the Sunday brunch. Top Choice Award winner for Best Sunday Brunch. Kids and grandkids under 3 eat for free. Just off Highway 167 near the Holy Hill Shrine. Enjoy your free dinner this weekend. It's the Fox and Hounds.
Time for WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports desk. The surging Bucks have won 5 straight and 8 of their last 10, including last night's rout of the Heat after arriving in Milwaukee about 2.5 hours before game time. Damian Lillard scored 29.
They were telling us on the plane we got to head straight to the arena, so we landed. Everybody got in their cars, and we came directly to the arena and tried to, get into our routines pregame. And we did what we could, We did our scouting report and everything on the plane. They handed it out. And we came out here, and our minds was just right.
Bucks head to Los Angeles to take on the Clippers Saturday night. Big night of college basketball. 10th-ranked Marquette takes on Villanova here in Milwaukee for a 6 o'clock tip. Hear the game on 94.5 ESPN. And the Milwaukee Panthers visit Northern Kentucky. You can hear that game on 101.7 The Truth beginning at 6 o'clock.
Checking out the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. We have a crash that just popped up. It's near the Caledonia area. 4194 south, just a little bit beyond County G. Right shoulder is blocked due to a crash. And as I'm taking a peek right now, this is fresh, but I do see that emergency responders have arrived at the scene. Looks like there are 3 cars that are out there in addition to the emergency responder. And then one more car that looks like it's disabled. Oh, but there we go. The emergency responder now is moving out of the way, which could be good news. Yep, that guy's gone. So we'll see how quickly this ends. Nobody is out of the car, which is good news. You don't want to do that if you're in a crash. But we'll see how quickly this gets cleaned up, and I'll keep you updated.
Increasing clouds throughout the day and a high of just 19 degrees. Chance of flurries tonight at a low of 17. Saturday looks pretty good, becoming mostly sunny and a high of 34. Sunday's high just 27 degrees. Back into the upper 30s on Monday and 35 and partly cloudy on Tuesday. It's 12 degrees and sunny in Milwaukee at 11:08.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Matzek and Jessica Tighe.
So did we buy Greenland yet? I feel like I've missed a lot.
Yeah, it was
I feel like I've missed an awful lot of time here.
It was a busy time. A lot of breaking news. We had some great shows, and you had a great vacation.
I had a wonderful trip. Yeah, we had a family trip to the Dominican Republic and got to soak in some sun, which was great. A lot of beach time with the kids, which was a lot of fun. Very consistent temperatures in the mid-80s throughout the time that we were there.
Oh, whoa.
Yes.
Everybody listening, do we need to tell him what the temperature was here?
Oh, I was aware. Well, the day that we left, though, it was I think it was 50. I think our thermometer hit 50 that I checked. But no, certainly missed a lot. And of course, the passing of Bob Uecker was heavy on my heart. I know the hearts of many of our fans and listeners here, and just moving tributes throughout the course of that day and the rest of that week. The inauguration, of course, and things have kind of progressed to where they are today. Got another Senate nomination hearing going on. On the way back from the trip, my daughter started feeling ill. I started feeling ill. So the last couple of days were sick days. I don't think related to the trip, but now my wife has it. We've got one daughter who's running the house now. She's staying strong. So the last couple of days just wasn't feeling very well. But we are back, stable ground. The gang is back together, and we're following some big stories here today.
And now it's time for 3 Big Things on Wisconsin's Midday News.
Number 1, we are one step closer to learning more about 3 of the biggest assassinations in U.S. history. President Trump ordered the release of documents from the JFK assassination and 2 other killings. ABC's Andrew Dimbert has the details.
Tom Samoluk, who serves on the board of directors at the JFK Library, says he reviewed all classified documents years ago. He tells our station in Boston the records will not reveal any smoking gun. There will be some puzzle pieces that will be put back in that will tell a more robust and rich story. Lee Harvey Oswald was identified as the sole gunman, but conspiracies abound. A former Secret Service agent with Kennedy at the time wrote a memoir in 2023 saying he found a bullet in the back of Kennedy's car but forgot until recently. His account challenges the government's finding that a single bullet hit both Kennedy and Texas Governor John Connally.
I think that's fascinating perspective because there are a lot of people out there right now who think there's going to be some bombshell revelation. And here they're saying that's not exactly the case, but you're going to get more details. It's going to paint the picture so you understand it a little bit better.
Again, I think that's, people who have followed this so closely and have watched the documentaries and read every book and story and maybe even exposed and uncovered some conspiracy theories. Any nugget of information, even if it's considered minor, probably feels satisfying to those who really dove into the JFK assassination because it was shrouded in mystery for so many years. And I think to some, it really still feels that way. Like not the truth maybe hasn't been told or something is missing that it should be obvious, but it's not yet been presented. What is it? So whatever's in there, I think people will be very curious to see.
Well, and the other thing to me is if there was some massive bombshell revelation, I would wonder why then it's being released. I would feel like even President Trump would say, okay, there's a reason. So all very interesting. We'll see as the details come out. But also want to let you know President Trump's order requires the Director of National Intelligence and Attorney General to spend the next 15 days coming up with a plan to release the JFK files. Then they have 45 days to come up with plans to release all the RFK and MLK files. But something to note about that, neither of those officials have been confirmed yet.
Rain is on the way to Southern California. Not necessarily a good news, however, as it pertains to curtailing the devastating wildfires. ABC Chief National Correspondent Matt Gutman is in Pacific Palisades.
The fires so thoroughly cooked not just the vegetation, but also the soil that it turned the earth into a kind of quicksand. And that is what we're seeing across Southern California, and that is raising concerns from officials as we expect rain. You think that half an inch of rain across a parched area that hasn't seen appreciable rain in 8 months would be a good thing, but not so much. That's why authorities here have ordered the filling of 15,000 sandbags.
Forecast calls for a 50% chance of rain tomorrow, 86% chance of rain on Sunday. There's also concerns about this toxic ash runoff. You think about, the thousands of homes that have burned and all the pollutants inside that burned with those homes. Well, now you get the rain and that stuff it's got to wash somewhere. So that's also an issue. President Trump scheduled to be in California today assessing the damage and meeting with state leaders.
I saw this was a couple days ago, but there was a family whose home was saved. It was spared from the wildfires, but then boom, there was a mudslide in the home, just gone.
Ugh.
I can't imagine have that feeling of thank goodness my home is there, and then just days later, taken out in a different capacity. Number 3, a big concert announcement from Camp Randall Stadium.
Yeah, I'ma need some whiskey glasses if I'm gonna make it through. If I'm a bass single, I'ma need a double shot of that heartbreak proof and see the world through.
Grammy Award-winning country artist Morgan Wallen is coming to Madison this summer. He'll perform on Saturday, June 28th with special guest Miranda Lambert. This will be the first concert at Camp Randall since the Rolling Stones back in 1997. Man, that would have been a concert, though, too, right?
That was a big year. I think they had Pink Floyd, U2 were all in that kind of mid-90s era.
Back in October, remember this? We told you about this right here in Wisconsin's Midday News. Coldplay announced its world tour with a stop at the stadium on July 19th. So everybody thought that was going to be the first concert at Camp Randall in ages because that's what we knew. But Morgan Wallen's going to be here first before Coldplay. So tickets for the country show, if you want to get them, go on sale January 31st.
11:15 on WTMJ.
Hey Bucks fans, it's Justin Garcia from the Bucks Radio Network, here to tell you about the launch of the Bucks Central podcast feed. Everything Bucks, on demand, in one spot. From sideline to sideline, hear all the ankle-breaking, rim-rattling, and twine-tingling highlights, exclusive interviews, and more. Subscribe to the Bucks Central podcast feed wherever you get your podcasts. All the Bucks content your heart desires in one spot. Check out the Bucks Central podcast feed.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
Save big money at Menards. Do you need durable flooring that stands up to life's messes? Update your home with new vinyl plank flooring. Peyton Vinyl Plank comes in 2 styles with a realistic wood look. It features an attached pad for easy installation, plus it's waterproof and durable. Peyton Vinyl Plank flooring is just $139 per square foot. Trust Menards for all your flooring needs. Sale prices good through January 26th.
Save big money at Menards.
In a recent study, over 1/3 of millionaires predicted their ability to feel financially secure in retirement is going to take a miracle. At Annex Wealth Management, we believe a plan, not a miracle, will help increase your retirement confidence. Our team of experts gets to work using leading-edge technology to build comprehensive plans covering investment, retirement, tax, and estate planning. And Annex doesn't have products to push with hidden fees or commissions. There's too much of that already. Annex is a fee-only fiduciary. More planning, fewer miracles. Know the difference. AnnexWealth.com.
What just seems like, 6 months ago, maybe perhaps because it was, that the Olympics in Paris wrapped up. Jessica, I don't know if you know this, but our ABC correspondent and friend Jim Ryan was actually the first high school athlete to run a mile in under 4 minutes. That's right. He was also a silver medalist in the 1500 at the 1968 Summer Olympics. Jim, we've not talked about this much. You've been kind of holding out on us, but I think it's wise that our fans and listeners know who you really are.
I hate to disappoint you, Greg. His name was R-Y-U-N. Mine's with an A.
So I screwed this up from the start.
I thought you were making the whole story up because it was a fun Friday.
Jim Ryan. I thought it was you.
That's right. I think he went on to coach track at the University of Kansas.
That's
where
right.
Jim Ryan eventually ended up. Wrong guy.
Okay. Well, fair enough. Nonetheless, the story still exists here about the quality of the medals won by those who earned them at the recently completed games in Paris. What's going on here?
The physical medals, Greg, the very symbols of the success of these athletes that they were able to take home with them around the world, back to their home countries. Well, at least a few of them kept an eye on their medals. They put them in a case or they put them in their bag, got them home, and realized that they were looking kind of shabby by the time they got there. Just the finish was coming off. It was flaking away, just really not looking so good. About 100 athletes now have asked the International Olympic Committee for replacement medals for the ones that they won in Paris because something's wrong with these.
Yeah, do they know what is wrong with them? What happened to the medals?
Well, here's the whole issue. It has to do with physics, with chemistry, and with politics. Something called chromium trioxide. chrome, essentially. If you see a 1955 Chevy Bel Air and it still has the chrome on the side and it's still shiny, it's because of the chromium trioxide. Well, it's very toxic. And so the EU has banned the use of chromium trioxide in the production of stuff to make it shiny, so they've had to find replacements. The company that was tasked with designing the metals, LVMH, is the parent company to Louis Vuitton, to Hennessy, a jewelry company called Chaumet. Chaumet is the one that designed it, and then handed the project off to the Paris Mint, the Monnaie de Paris, which was tasked then with actually producing them. Well, without the chromium trioxide, they had to find a replacement, and apparently that replacement just hasn't really been up to snuff, and so here we have the Paris Olympics tarnished again.
Well put. Good use of the term. Is it possible that during the finishing process, Jim, these metals were dipped in the Seine River?
Oh, jeez.
Well, that was one of the issues, right? The filthy Seine River that people were complaining about. And it looks like these things were dropped in battery acid and then pulled up. But yeah, they just don't look good.
They do. You said shabby, and I thought that's kind of describing them nice. I think they look terrible in some cases. How many athletes have returned them, and any U.S. athletes that we know of?
Yeah, a few U.S. athletes, a fencing competitor who won a bronze. It seems to me the bronze medals were the ones that had a lot of problems. Nigel Houston, a bronze medal winning skateboarder, he has asked to have his replaced. So, it's primarily an issue with bronze, but some of the silver and gold might also have some problems too.
Well, hopefully the chocolate underneath is still in okay shape.
Oh, jeez. And I heard these medals had a really unique piece inside of them, like a piece of the Eiffel Tower.
Right. During a renovation of the Eiffel Tower in sometime the middle of last century, they held on to the scrap that was used, the scrap that came out of the Eiffel Tower. And so in each of the medals is a hexagonal cutout of the Eiffel Tower, a piece of the actual Eiffel Tower that all those athletes took home with them, which is pretty cool. That wasn't the problem, though. It was the varnish that was used on the opposite side or on that side as well. It just wasn't quality varnish. It wasn't mixed right.
How concerned is the IOC about this? I mean, yes, for one thing, it's medals and the athletes aren't happy, but I wonder if they're just kind of concerned about their reputation, too, and then now how people will think about those games because of this.
Well, possibly. But I can tell you, I mean, I've been lucky enough to cover 3 Olympics. Sochi, there were problems at Sochi. It was a warm winter that year. Didn't have enough snow to have the ski competition. Then in Rio de Janeiro, the Summer Olympics there, the diving well was filthy, and they had wind and storms and all the rest. Then Japan, it happened right in the middle of COVID. So, it's kind of par for the course for the Olympics to have some kind of issues. Now here we are, the Paris Olympics 2024. The medals are falling apart.
Well, he is not the last American to hold the world record in the mile run, but he is a great reporter for ABC and our friend Jim Ryan, not Jim Ryan. Jim, we appreciate your time.
Thanks,
have a great
Jim.
weekend.
See you guys.
Yep, you take care. We'll get a look at the weekend weather and a little bit of warm-up coming up. How much and when? We'll talk to Brendan Johnson after this.
Monica, we've got to hand it to you.
You and the design team have outdone yourselves.
Are you talking about the One Collection?
Those rings say you are the one.
And they say it symbolically.
Describe the symbols.
Every ring in the One Collection should be presented with a special ritual.
What would that ritual be?
You pick up her left hand and you place a kiss on her ring finger.
Rick, you never told me about that part.
Then you show her the tiny red diamond, flush mounted inside the ring, that will forever be in contact with her finger.
Why is it red?
Because that's when the giver says to the one, wherever you go, my heart goes with you.
I give you this kiss. I give you my heart.
The red diamond is a secret symbol of that sacred moment.
The center diamond on the outside of the ring is for the whole world to see.
But the tiny red created diamond inside the ring is only for the two of them.
The One Collection of engagement rings is available exclusively at Kessler's.
To find the Kessler's nearest you,
visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Many times, patients have symptoms they didn't know were actually related to their airway breathing issues.
I was suffering from sinus issues, jaw issues, and neck pain. I guess I just kind of had my breaking point.
Unfortunately, this is typical. But until you get to the root of your problem, it's going to just persist. Fortunately, Jody took action. And the results were typical as well.
My quality of life is so different. But one of the first things that I noticed was my breathing. I don't ever remember being able to breathe like that.
Being able to breathe freely is life-changing, and the effects can go beyond that.
Sleeping better, having more energy, and it seemed as if all of those symptoms that I had just melted away.
And thank heavens for that, because at Advent, results are what drive us, helping you breathe well so you can live better.
Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
Craig and Justin with you. It's the Friday edition of Wisconsin's Midday News. Hope you're having a great day so far. 13 degrees and sunny. The cold pattern continues, but there is a warm-up on the horizon. We welcome in TMJ4 meteorologist Brendan Johnson. Hi, Brendan.
Yeah, hey, guys. How's it going?
Doing well. We are in this cold snap. I've been gone for the majority of it. Jessica tells me it was awful.
He was in the 80s. It was the high 80s where he was.
Oh, was it? Well, when we were in the Arctic Blast, it was in the high 70s where I was earlier in the week.
Where were you, by the way? I was wondering.
Oh, yeah. Went on a cruise. Was in Roatan, island off of Honduras, and Cozumel, Mexico.
Ooh, nice. See, all these fabulous vacations.
Right.
You know where I was? Right here when it was -5.
Well, you caught a day in the 50s, right? Or close to 50 anyway. But yes, no. Winter is here, no doubt about that. But I do see a bit of a warm-up coming up.
Yeah, we're back into the 30s tomorrow, guys. So that's going to be a real nice change from the 1 degree low at Milwaukee tumbled to early this morning. We had that clear sky, a little bit of a snowpack and a light wind. So made for a one last bit of Arctic air before this warm-up heads our way. We've got sunshine out there now. Temperatures, as you mentioned, in the teens. Got 9 degrees right now in Waukesha, but we're closing in on probably the upper teens near 20 this afternoon. But 34 for tomorrow. One thing I do want folks to know, tonight, more cloud cover, couple of flurries possible. We may even have a quick burst of a few flurries tomorrow, late afternoon, early evening. But before those get to us, I still think around or even above the freezing mark. So this might be the day to get to the car wash, get all that salt off, or at least, try and get it off this one time around. And of course, it'll come back some point later. But I know a lot of folks like to get out and get the car washed when it gets warmer.
Yes, we do. Hey, quick question for you there. Do we still have you, Brendan?
Oh, yes, I'm here.
Oh, there you go. Okay, I thought we lost you for a second. With the temperatures I see as I look at, people are going to love this. I mean, we're talking about tomorrow high of 34, Monday high of 38. I mean, that's inching up there to 40. What is the average temperature right now? Because we have these drastic swings.
Yeah, no, our average high would be around 30 degrees. I got to tell you guys, right now is actually the coldest on average time of year for Milwaukee, where our average temperature is around 23 degrees. That's a period from January the 19th through the 27th. So we got 3 more days. And then on average, it should get warmer as we go forward in time. But of course, weather patterns, day-to-day weather, of course, things can be a little bit different. But we hopefully we'll be trending in the right direction. But yeah, early next week, numbers into the mid and upper 30s. We certainly could see a couple instances of some light snow as some clippers pass to our north. But all in all, a fairly quiet 7-day period. I'm really not looking at any major systems until maybe just beyond the 7-day forecast into next weekend. But that still is a ways off.
Well, I'm going to hold off on getting that new battery for my lawnmower. It's just not quite. We don't have much snow, right? Just that little dusting. We've got, I'd say it's a little more than a trace, which for January, at this point of the month of January, is a little uncommon.
Yeah, 11.9 inches so far for our season. That is about maybe half of what we should have seen already to date. And then, guys, it's around a quarter of our total annual snowfall. So we're running behind, but we still do have more than half of our snow season to go in the city of Milwaukee.
That's so true. I was just thinking that before you said it. February right around the corner here, and you never know what Mother Nature brings in February. So maybe the snow lovers will get some.
Exactly.
Good stuff, Brendan. Have a great weekend. We'll talk again soon.
You too, guys. Take care.
You bet. News coming up.
Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra concertmaster Jinwoo Lee is the soloist in the tuneful and romantic violin concerto by Jean Sibelius, January 24th and 25th at the Bradley Symphony Center. Music director Ken David Mazur will lead the MSO in this program, which also features the tone poem Pan and Syrinx by Danish composer Carl Nielsen, as well as this searingly beautiful musical elegy Within Her Arms by British contemporary composer Anna Klein. Tchaikovsky's dazzling Romeo and Juliet rounds out this lush and dreamy program. Visit MSO.org for tickets and more information, or call the box office now at 414-291-7605. The number again for tickets is 414-291-7605.
So how do you underpromise and still get the job? We believe in our hearts we're going to do great work for you. We're just really careful about making unrealistic promises. At Semper Fi, we refuse to set the bar higher than we can jump. But be assured, that's the goal. To do all we can to jump as high as possible to try to exceed your expectations. We're looking to break records. That's how you win over customers, get really great referrals, and build a great business. When you're making a decision to hire an exterior remodeling company, character, integrity, and the feeling that the people you're about to hire are truly eager to show you how good they are should stand at the top of your list. This is Brad Youngluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
I'm Greg Matzek. This is Wisconsin's Midday News. Your top story, an early morning fire turns deadly.
I'm Jessica Tighe. Is it a cold, the flu, or something worse?
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. President Trump visiting areas of North Carolina still recovering after hurricanes and later travels to Los Angeles to see wildfire damage. In Asheville, the president hinted that FEMA may go away and aid would shift to states to handle. ABC's Mary Alice Parks explains.
There's a lot of people who agree that there should be a way to cut through bureaucracy, get aid, get disaster relief to people on the ground faster. A lot of former FEMA directors from both sides of the aisle of Democrat and Republican administrations who say absolutely help give states more funding to give out themselves. So I think that there is a lot of room probably for bipartisan changes.
A full confirmation vote set for tonight for Defense Secretary nominee Pete Hegseth. Republicans can only lose 3 votes without Democratic support. A federal judge barred Oath Keepers founder Stuart Rhodes from entering Washington, D.C. without a court's approval. President Trump commuted the far-right leader's sentence in a seditious conspiracy conviction related to the January 6th attacks. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 11:31. An early morning mobile home fire leaves 1 dead in Waukesha. Firefighters responding just after 3 a.m. to heavy smoke and fire coming from a home near Elder in Grandview. Crews removed 1 person from the home, but they died at the scene. 1 pet was also rescued and is in the care of the Humane Animal Welfare Society of Waukesha. Firefighters continued to put out hotspots for several hours in freezing conditions.
It's $1 million bond for a man charged with killing another inmate. 30-year-old Devontae Caraway is charged with first-degree intentional homicide and the death of Joseph Lee in December. Caraway is accused of brutally attacking Lee in the day room at the Racine County Jail. Lee died the next day. Caraway is currently being held in the Milwaukee County Jail.
Is it the flu, COVID, or maybe RSV? Dr. Andrea Klein-Tifford with the National Association of Pediatric Nurse Practitioners tells WTMJ they can all start with the progression of sniffles, a runny nose, and a cough.
Which then can travel down into the lungs, cause inflammation, cause wheezing, and a lot of difficulty breathing. And so some of the other circulating viruses can start out in a very similar way.
RSV tends to involve more secretions and wheezing, but not necessarily a fever. The best way to know is get a test, especially for young children and infants.
Priceless World War II era instruments are coming here to Milwaukee.
Milwaukee Youth Symphony Orchestra CEO Linda Edelstein tells WTMJ's The Upswing about violins of hope.
Instruments from the Holocaust that were played by Jewish musicians and other musicians who were targeted by the Nazis.
The violins travel the world, and each city they stop in gets several months to curate their own residency for education.
The lessons of the Holocaust, connecting them to today and to our experiences at MISO, we unite through the power of music.
Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
The Violins of Hope arrive this fall.
And a bill to make the WIAA subject to public records and open meeting laws. The Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel reports 2 lawmakers are seeking co-sponsors for the bill. The WIAA is nonprofit. It's a private association. That means Wisconsin's public records and open meeting laws don't apply to it. Over 500 public and private school districts are part of the WIAA. A similar bill died in a Senate committee 10 years ago.
Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is coming up on 11:34. Ding, ding, right now.
If you've ever worried about your heart, if you've ever loved someone with heart disease, if you've ever wondered if you're the one at risk, let's remind ourselves that we are not powerless. Because at the Froedtert and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network, we're pushing to outsmart heart and vascular disease by working with you personally to understand your history, assess your risks, and guide you to heart strength. By digging deep with tireless research and offering access to leading-edge clinical trials. And for the most serious conditions, including heart failure, heart valve disease, arrhythmias, and vascular diseases, we provide renowned expertise and the most advanced life-saving procedures you expect from academic medicine. So let's get out in front of heart disease. Let's outsmart it. Let's keep pushing so that every one of us can outrun it and embrace every beautiful day life in Wisconsin has to offer. To learn more about our nationally renowned heart and vascular care, visit froedtert.com/heart.
The pulse of the Milwaukee Bucks, straight from a Bucks legend.
Can't get it off. Marcus Johnson will, though. Can't leave him alone for a 12.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson on Bucks Plus. Marcus and his son Chris offer a weekly beat on Bucks basketball. Get your questions answered and hear from the biggest names in basketball. Find Here District with Marcus Johnson at bucks.com/plus on the Bucks app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Tune in on Sundays at 10 a.m. for the AccuNet Mortgage and Realty Show. Join AccuNet's Brian and David Wickert for the most up-to-date information on mortgage trends, along with timely news on the real estate market. The housing market is in flux, but the national headlines don't often fit local market conditions. Find out what's really happening on the front lines of real estate and mortgage financing in Wisconsin and make better decisions by tuning in every Sunday at 10 a.m. The AccuNet Mortgage and Realty Show with Brian and David Wickert on WTMJ.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. The Bucks have won 5 straight and 8 of the last 10. They'll hop on a flight here in a couple of hours and head to Los Angeles. A Saturday night contest with the Clippers awaits. Big night of college basketball. 10th-ranked Marquette takes on Villanova at Fiserv Forum. It's a 6 o'clock tip. You can hear the game on 94.5 ESPN. And the exciting Milwaukee Panthers visit Northern Kentucky. Hear that game on 101.7 The Truth beginning at 6.
Of the week, traffic-wise, I think the cars, just with that cold weather, they didn't want to go. Or they went, and then they stopped. One of them is I-43 South beyond the ramp from Moreland Road. Right shoulder is closed due to a broken-down vehicle there. And then 43 North at Hampton Avenue East. Right shoulder is blocked because of a car that's broken down in that spot, and that's right around the curve in a spot that tends to be busy. So a heads up there, I-43 North at Hampton Avenue East.
Sunshine right now, increasing clouds, a high of 19. Slight chance of flurries tonight and a low of 17. Sun returns on Saturday with a high of 34 degrees. Sunny on Sunday with a high of 27. And a good weekend to get the car washed. 13 degrees and sunny in Milwaukee at 11:37. So it's a very strange last 48 hours for the Milwaukee Bucks. That ultimately resulted in this.
The Bucks dig their way out of the Bayou Blizzard and dominate Miami.
The Bayou Blizzard, as it was coined by Dave Kane. It was a game that never happened. A game on the Bucks schedule that never happened on Wednesday, scheduled for New Orleans, playing the Pelicans. And they got a snowstorm unlike they ever experienced.
Historic.
In New Orleans.
8 inches.
Right? And that's
just
wild.
Unheard of there.
Absolutely. So everything's shut down, right? And there was thought when that game was postponed Wednesday night, there was thought that the Bucks would not be able to get out of New Orleans in time to get back to Milwaukee to play the Miami Heat last night. A scheduled 6:30 start.
We tracked this throughout Wisconsin's Midday News. I mean, it was number one of 3 big things. are the Bucks going to be able to get back here in time for the game? And it was really interesting to watch. And the wild thing is, a lot of people are like, okay, well, if they're at the airport, why can't they get out? The thing is, down there in New Orleans, they just don't have the equipment like we do here to clean the runways. Milwaukee, our teams here at the airport, they've been doing this. They are pros. They get it done quickly. Down there, they don't even have the equipment to do so. But then it was twofold. At one point, once the airport said, hey, we're going to open up this afternoon, so we're thinking maybe the Bucks can get out, they couldn't let as many planes out as normal because you had some air traffic controllers who couldn't get to the airport. So when you have a lower staff like that, you can only have so many planes going out at a time. So that it was kind of a mess. And we were watching the flight for the Bucks. It kept changing. All of a sudden it was delayed more. I mean, throughout our show here yesterday. And we had Peter Fagan, Bucks president, here, and we were asking him, are the guys going to get out? And at that time, we didn't know.
Everybody, including the president of the team, didn't know when the Bucks were going to ultimately leave New Orleans. So what do? The Bucks got to New Orleans on Monday. They didn't practice on Tuesday. They didn't play on Wednesday. They kind of sat around the hotel all day Thursday waiting to get out. Here's Damian Lillard.
Watching a couple shows on Netflix.
Okay, all right. Bobby Portis.
I had like a little PTSD from like quarantine, man, from the COVID era. Felt like it was COVID all over again. We were just in the rooms, just chilling. I set up like a little card game, a little card night for us on Tuesday. Played some cards, ate some little wings, watched the Knicks and the Nets. We was just trying to bypass time.
Yeah, just hanging out in the hotel room.
Did somebody start baking bread?
I don't know if anybody did that. But Bobby admitted something else.
I set my alarm for 1:05. And when I woke up at 1:05, it said that the bus is at 1:10. I'm like, oh, snap. I'm like, oh, shoot, let me hurry up. Let me get up and hurry up.
So ultimately last night...
doesn't mean that that's actually going to happen, that they're going to get up in the air even though they're on it. They're going to get home at some point, because once you're up in the air, then it was, okay, clear sailing to get here. So I really thought it might be canceled. But then sure enough, we got the word that it's going to be delayed by an hour.
So just a peek behind the curtain here. So when things like this happen, when there's a cancellation, and usually we get this more in baseball, right?
Yeah.
You don't get a lot of washouts weather-related to basketball. It very rare as it compares to baseball. But all of a sudden, our station has to come up with programming. All right, now I got to fill an hour. We didn't have to fill this hour before. We thought the Bucks game was going to be on. We got to figure out what to do. I work with all of our affiliates in the Bucks radio network. Now they got to know. It's 3:45, and
right.
I learned that the Bucks game has been delayed an hour. Not all of these stations that carry Bucks basketball have a person who's going to be ready to flip a switch and say, okay, we can handle that. They might have to drive 40, 50 miles to get into the station because it's largely automated. So there really is a domino effect when something like this happens. You just don't expect it in basketball.
Well, and the other thing is, all of the people who had tickets to go to the game.
That too.
That was something that I asked Peter Fagan yesterday. I said, hey, how do you get that communication out? Because obviously the Bucks communicate through social media and through emails and whatnot. But it's a different ball game when you're just communicating normally and there's not, like, time is not of the essence. Yesterday, time was really of the essence. Of course, if you're a big Bucks fan, you're probably paying attention to it on social media. And paying attention to the news. But let's be honest, not everybody pays attention to the news. So like there are going to be some people who are in the dark showing up thinking it's a 6:30 game. And really the communication, I mean, we had it out first because you knew it because of everything that you do behind the scenes. And I didn't get my email from the organization, like as a season ticket holder, until quite a while after. And the funny thing is, this morning, I got a little update from Ticketmaster on my phone. It was a push alert, and it said that the Bucks game had been delayed an hour.
Oh.
This morning. I got it this morning from Ticketmaster.
Thanks.
I was like, yeah, thanks.
Thanks for the heads up. Well, you can understand the NBA's urgency to have that game played. To make up one game in the season, if it's in New Orleans, if it's at a neutral site or in Milwaukee, you could probably figure that out. But when it's three teams, right, and you're kind of beyond the halfway point of the season to try and triangulate how you're going to get those games made up, it is such a matrix, the NBA's schedule, right? I mean, they work forever to try and piece this thing together. So it would have been a very difficult situation to try and work through.
And Peter said they wanted to play that game.
For sure.
I mean, there was no doubt. Like, we want to play that game. And the Heat was already in town. That's the other thing. Because I thought, okay, well, where's the Heat at this point? Just because there were flight cancellations across the country. I didn't know exactly when they were coming in. But they were here waiting. And then just the rush. I mean, you got to give these guys credit. There's some people out there, I know not everybody, but traveling can be exhausting for some people. And there's something about the air on the plane. It can just make you tired. And then these guys, the plane lands, a little bit after 5, and then all of a sudden you're rushing out. You're trying to get down to the Deer District to get to Fiserv. And then you're putting your uniforms on. You're trying to get warmed up. And then, boom, you just play a game. So kudos to them. Not only did they play a game, but it was basically a blowout. Didn't start like that. It started slow, but man, did it pick up. And then they just kept going. And Dame even had a shot. It was like a 3-pointer. I think it was right before halftime. And it was like he went up with it. The ball went into the basket, and then he just walked off to go back to the locker room. It was a beauty.
It was 15-3 before the Bucks woke up. I mean, they quite honestly looked like a team that had arrived in Milwaukee 2 hours before game time. It's essentially what they did. But leave it to Giannis to put everything into perspective. He was asked about overcoming the adversity of the day and not really having touched a basketball in 3 days, hopping on a flight, landing just hours before tip-off. Everybody's routine is thrown.
At the end of the day, we still woke up in a 5-star hotel, had breakfast, sit down as a team, talk as a team while we were waiting for the bus. We had a pretty nice bus ride. Then we went to our plane, chartered a plane, private plane. Everybody has their own seat. You can order some food in the plane. Get some fruits if you want. They have drinks too. After that, your cars are, warm, right in front of the plane, waiting for you. You get in your car, and you get to the arena in like 15 minutes. And after that, you do your routine, and you get ready for the game. That, for me, those conditions are not that bad. I've been in the way, way worse conditions in my life. But if you want to call this adversity, I'm very happy and proud of how the team responded.
Leave it to Giannis to put it all into perspective.
Well, of course, everything in perspective. I mean, you're talking to a guy who, with his brothers was selling watches to try to make money for his family. So, of course, something like this is like nothing. But if you talk about just trying to get into the game, I mean, these guys are pros, but at the end of the day, they're also human.
Sure.
And you're on a plane, and then you got to get off and just the rush of it all. But they made it work and did it well.
And in a couple hours, they'll be back on a flight going to Los Angeles because they play the Clippers on Saturday night. Yeah, pretty wild week here for the Milwaukee Bucks. It's 11:46 on WTMJ.
Imagine all the things you dream of under one roof. You're thinking of eBay. Fashion, collectibles, car parts. It's all there. Go find the thing that keeps you up at night. eBay. Things people love.
I'm Brett Matschke, and you're due for service.
Richlands.
Hey, I want to tell you about my friends at Siding Unlimited. Boy, the weather that we've been experiencing here lately can really stress the home, right? You know what I'm talking about. Condensation building up on the inside of the windows. You don't want to see that. Ice, all that stuff. Do you have an ice dam that's stressing your gutters? How are your roof shingles? Doors, windows, siding, you name it. The wicked winter weather is tough. It's tough to deal with, and Siding Unlimited knows it. They know it. They've got the right products, and they've got the incredible installation crew to make sure that your home withstands the wicked winter weather. Connect with Siding Unlimited for any way to beautify your home's exterior and get it ready for the wicked winter weather. Spring is around the corner. It's going to be wet. You know it. Really doesn't matter the season. The stress is put on your home with the weather. Siding Unlimited is recognized by Pella as one of only 5 Pella Premier installers in the country. That means not only do they have great products available at Siding Unlimited, they're the best at installing it. Recognized by Pella. It's amazing. A national award right here for Brookfield's Siding Unlimited. Family run. They are an incredible group of people at Siding Unlimited. If you want windows, siding, doors, roofing, you name it, it's Siding Unlimited. Visit sidingunlimited.com.
Politics, work, daily stressors. Let's take a break from all that and get centered, Christ-centered. I'm Pastor Tim Butker. Join me each week for Christian Crusaders, a broadcast that highlights the gospel, the good news of Jesus, and our belief in the authoritative Word of God. Christ-centered, gospel-oriented, Bible-based Christian Crusaders. Please join us Sundays at 6 a.m. on WTMJ. We'd love to have you worship with us.
Looking ahead to life's next adventure? Hi, I'm Mike Yancey from Yancey & Associates. Whether you're buying a home or launching your dream business, we know there's a lot on your plate. But here's the thing, you don't have to go it alone. Since 1946, we've helped Wisconsinites like you secure, protect, and grow their version of the American dream. Our team is ready to tailor the perfect plan for you. Learn more at ansay.com. That's ANSAY.com.
No matter how many people are in your family, buying new jackets for the cold weather months can be expensive. But when you shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, prices on cold weather jackets will give you a sigh of relief because thrift store prices mean great deals. And right now we have a great selection. Find great deals on cold weather jackets for the family at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Ready for a win? Well, it's your year. At Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee, you could win over $2,000 in free play every month all year long. Just play your favorite games and you might take the stage in the It's Your Year game show. 25 winners each Thursday. There's $300,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs this January. Yeah, we think it's your year. More info at paysbig.com. Must be 21 years old to play.
Well, the cold pattern continues today. We are in a bit of sunshine here. That's the good news. The bad news is it's only 12 degrees, up to 19. Clouds on the increase, slight chance of flurries tonight, and a low of 17. Saturday looks pretty good here. Mostly sunny, a high of 34. Get the car washed. Sunday, mostly sunny and a high of 27. Back into the upper 30s on Monday under partly cloudy skies. It's up to 14 degrees. There we go. And sunny in Milwaukee at 11:50.
It's Friday, which means it's time for Stories of the Strange on Wisconsin's Midday News.
Greg, aren't you back? You're back. Aren't you excited you're back for Friday? Because this is like your favorite part of the week, Stories of the Strange.
I like it, yeah. I like things that are bizarre, weird, strange, yes.
Are you starting or am I? Do we flip a coin?
Go for it.
Okay. Well, my Story of the Strange this week starts in Florida. A Florida man's...
Hold up.
Wait. Did she just say this story is about a Florida man?
A man in his 40s achieved a rare complication with his high-fat diet.
Whoa. I say the Florida man thing. Of course it's strange. So many strange stories come out of Florida, right? Florida agrees. They acknowledge this down there. In fact, one of the TV stations in Tampa actually puts a list out of the wackiest stories of the year involving Florida people. So it's not a knock to them. Because you know the story. It's like a Florida, it's a joke. The story starts out, a Florida man.
Yeah,
of course.
They've got their own subcategory, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it's understood.
That station down there, it has the top 10 wackiest Florida man and woman stories of the past year. Well, let's not digress, though. My story of the strange today, a Florida man's diet of meat, cheese, and butter caused his hands to seep out cholesterol.
Oh, God, jeez.
What?
What does that mean?
A Florida man's diet, I'm going to say it again,
What does that
meat,
mean?
cheese, and butter caused his hands to seep out cholesterol. I didn't even know that could happen.
Well, what do you got, like Crisco just coming out of your pores then? Like, what is that?
This is not a joke, folks. ABC's Chuck Cyberstein brings you the details.
A man in his 40s achieved a rare complication with his high-fat diet, in which he chowed on 6 to 9 pounds of cheese, sticks of butter, and daily hamburgers. Remarkably, he reported losing weight, increased energy, improved mental clarity. His cholesterol, through the roof. So much so, he got a rare condition of it forming yellowish nodules on his hands and elbows. Heart docs at Tampa General Hospital described the case in the Journal of the AMA Cardiology.
Yeah, JAMA Cardiology has it this week, published this. I looked for pictures. There's actually a picture out there showing the man's hands. And actually, to be honest, it's not that gross when you see it, but it's very weird. It's almost as if, the veins have a little cheese whiz in them. Like he's putting out his hands and it kind of looks like that. This boggles my mind. Strange indeed.
Well, no need to go to the store if you run out of something to spread on that cracker. Just run it across the guy's hand and there you go.
Oh, no.
You're set to go, right? Need a little bacon grease for that fish you're frying up on a Friday night?
Can you imagine, though, his daily intake made up of entire sticks of butter? Like, that's just gross. 6 to 9 pounds of cheese and hamburger patties.
My dad would put butter on a peanut butter sandwich.
Oh,
he would take
yeah.
butter and spread it on white bread and then add peanut butter to it.
I get it.
As if
I bet
it needed
some of you
more
listening get that
viscosity.
too,
Like,
right? Yeah, it does sound weird because it's peanut butter, but there is something about that combination together that is just ooey gooey goodness.
That's appealing?
Ooey gooey goodness.
Really?
Yeah.
Pat of butter on a hard-boiled egg?
Like if you do toast and then you put butter on and then peanut butter. Oh, yeah. I did that as a kid a lot.
Maybe the state of it makes a difference if it's melted. But I'm not eating sticks of butter like this guy apparently is doing.
Gross. But can you believe that? I've never heard of that. His hands were seeping cholesterol.
Let's go to Australia, shall we? Hello.
Let's go quick.
This is actually a story somewhat familiar to those who live in Milwaukee. The rare unfurling of an endangered plant that emits the smell of decaying flesh.
Oh, we know it well.
Remember this thing? The corpse flower.
Oh, yeah.
It's now on display at a place, I guess you could consider it, the domes of this area in Australia. And as you might expect, there were 20,000 admirers. People lined up and waited 3 hours to get us a whiff and a view of the corpse flower. And everybody has the same thing to say. People compare the scent to gym socks and rotting garbage, but people still want to see this thing in bloom. The Royal Sydney Botanic Garden saw a 3-hour line to smell the corpse flower. This just a day ago. Others said it was sensational. Australians saw the stinky flower in bloom. And I don't remember the last time this was on display in Milwaukee, but that's been a thing
Not
at
that long
the domes.
ago. Yeah.
And it's like the thing that keeps the domes open. It's just like all of a sudden half of Milwaukee goes to see this thing.
Well, no, we have definitely had people lined up just around the domes to go get a whiff here. I've never personally gotten a whiff.
Why? I don't get it.
I
Show me
kind
a
of
picture.
It's not that I would like to go to, but there's a time element there. So if you can't get out there all of a sudden, then it's okay, you can't smell it anymore. There's one thing to call it like the scent dirty socks. I mean, I don't like that, but I think that's more bearable than the rotten garbage.
Okay.
I mean, that's gag worthy.
Oh, that's pretty tough. Yeah. It's 11:56. News coming up.
Don't count us out. Not
Lillard
yet.
scoops to the hoop, lays it in. The Bucks have taken a 1-point Lopez in transition, squeezes up a three, and he drilled it. The Bucks throwing fire.
This season is far from over.
To work with, drives inside and stuffs it down with the right hand. 59 points now for Giannis. He's tapping his chest as he goes the other way, saying, "This is my house.
We are the home of the Bucks.
This is my house."
WTMJ.
Hey, Wisconsin, Greg Matzek here for Holiday Automotive in Fond du Lac. The New Year's sale is still going on. That's good news for you. If you're in the market for a new Chevrolet, Buick, or GMC, you got to connect with Holiday. Help find the one that's right for you. Put it all together with their low, simplified price. You'll get more for your trade as well. And then put it all together with the season's best offers. Ready to take the roads this winter with a little confidence. Here's another great option for you. How about a GM-certified pre-owned model? Peace of mind benefits are available to you like 2 factory-backed warranties, scheduled maintenance, courtesy transportation, roadside assistance. It is all built in. Driving a GM certified from Holiday, hey, it's a no-brainer. I know you'll appreciate what I appreciate, and that's the simplified approach to how they run their business at Holiday. It's really customer-friendly, and I know I'm a customer, a repeat customer, have been for about 10 years. Wisconsin's #1 Buick and GMC dealer. Put them on your side like I have. Find yours and discover the difference at Holiday Chevrolet, Buick and GMC, Highway 41 and 23 in Fond du Lac. You can also visit holidaygm.com. It's worth the trip.
Before you go looking for an area rug that you'll have to settle for because you think that the one you really want will be out of your budget, come to Design Exchange, where you'll find a formidable selection of Oriental, Persian, and other wool area rug choices at 25 to 70% off retail. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor on consignment at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
If you're trying to find really good, high-end, distinctive furniture, the kind they just don't make anymore, then come to Design Exchange. But you better get here quickly, because the best furniture we take in on consignment doesn't usually last long. It may be vintage, it may have once been out of your range, but now you'll find it's priced right. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value.
Design Exchange.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Skilled trade workers are the backbone of every community and also the Army National Guard. Soldiers trained to keep the power flowing, engines running, and in every other trade needed to accomplish the mission. These soldiers are on the fast track to learning skills that can set them up for success at home with companies looking to hire the best. Their resumes are being built through their paid training and part-time service. Find out how you too can learn a trade profession by visiting NationalGuard.com. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
This change has leveled us up while being able to maintain the same quality of service that we've always provided, with no upfront fees and 1.9% real estate commission. We're proud to be part of the Century 21 family, so you can move fearlessly with the added confidence of top-of-the-line marketing for maximum home exposure. And that means more eyeballs and the real potential for the highest price for your home. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated. First off, our 1.9% commission structure helps get their foot in the door, and that's why agents like working here. But what they really like is having the strongest marketing tools available, with the resources to help them sell homes at the highest prices to satisfy their clients. Century 21 Benefit Realty offers what agents like most, and that's to help them be successful. If you really want to believe in the business model that you're representing, give me a call. I'm Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty. Call me, and let's talk about your future. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Built Right Furniture, Leather, and Mattress.
You gotta get to Built Right today.
Stay up to date with your trusted and relevant source in news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It's 12 o'clock. I'm Greg Matzek. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Friday, January 24th. Your top story, the deadline is set to be in compliance.
I'm Jessica Tighe, getting more hostages ready for release.
Sun still hanging around. There will be clouds on the increase later this afternoon. High of 19, cloudy tonight and a low of 17. Might see some flurries as well. Saturday looks pretty good. Sunny with a high of 34 degrees. 14 degrees in sunny in Milwaukee at 12:01 from the WTMJ breaking newsroom. A firm deadline for SROs in Milwaukee Public Schools.
A judge ruled Thursday that MPS must place 25 school resource officers across the district by February 17th. MPS has failed to comply with the law since it took effect in January 2024. The judge also denied the district's motion to dismiss a lawsuit filed by an MPS parent and the Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty. A response from MPS says, in part, the court's decision is, quote, a recognition that the city plays an integral role in implementation of the SRO program, end quote. Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
If they fail to comply, the district will be required to appear in court.
A Dane County judge extends the pause on striking down Act 10. The Wisconsin State Journal reports Judge Jacob Frost granted the legislature's motion for a stay pending appeal on Thursday. Frost ruled back in December that several provisions of Act 10 were unconstitutional and unenforceable, specifically regarding collective bargaining rights for public workers. The case is likely to go before the Wisconsin Supreme Court.
Hamas has published the names of 4 hostages expected to be released from Gaza on Saturday, but the list does not match the names Israeli officials had expected. All of the names are female Israeli soldiers. Israel was expecting 3 female IDF soldiers plus 1 female civilian. ABC's Tom Sophie Burridge is in Jerusalem.
Another key thing that's going to happen this weekend on Sunday, we believe, is that Israel will relinquish its control of a key strip of land in central Gaza called the Netzarim Corridor. IDF troops will, in theory, move out of that. And we understand from the New York Times that U.S. security contractors will move in and basically be in charge of policing that as Gazan civilians basically regain the right to move from south to north through that corridor.
Under the terms of this first phase of the ceasefire agreement, 26 more Israeli hostages and hundreds of Palestinian prisoners should be released over the next 5 weeks.
U.S. authorities arrested more than 500 migrants and deported hundreds in a mass operation just days into President Donald Trump's second administration. More of those arrests targeted a work site in Newark, New Jersey. The mayor details what happened when ICE agents stormed the building.
Obviously, some ICE agents raided a business in our city without a warrant. They went in the back of the establishment. We believe that there were 3 people who they say were undocumented that they detained, but they also detained folks that were, in fact, citizens.
The mayor says one person was questioned even after showing a military ID.
The Wisconsin National Guard website is down in compliance with President Trump's executive order to terminate diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. To comply, the director of the Office of Management and Budget is reviewing websites involving federal employees to terminate all positions and language regarding DEI. The National Guard site simply says it's under maintenance to ensure compliance with the requirements of the order. Our partners at WISC TV report that both the Wisconsin Emergency Management and the Department of Military Affairs websites are also down, but have since been restored. Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Everything's still in the red here this afternoon. The Dow down about 80 points at 44,485. NASDAQ is off about 65 today, just under the 20,000 mark. And the S&P 500 down about 12 at 6108. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. It's financial planning at every level. For details, visit annexwealth.com.
The Bucks get another win after a wacky travel situation. What's next for the team? We'll talk about it. Sports, traffic, and weather right after this. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 12:05.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here, asking you to join me in October as my wife and I explore the magical kingdoms of Southeast Asia, from the villages of Vietnam and the temples of Cambodia to the friendly locals of Laos and the beachside resort in stunning, lively Thailand. I hope you'll join us for this unforgettable journey. Ancient and mysterious worlds of rural landscapes, bustling cities, and fascinating history in Vietnam. Explore the Chu Chi tunnels used by the Viet Cong. Experience a street food adventure through Hanoi and cherish the serenity of Hai Long Bay on a beautiful boat ride. Bangkok in Thailand, the beaches in Thailand, history, tradition, food. If you'd like more information on this great trip, send me an email. john.mercure@WTMJ.com. john.mercure@WTMJ.com. It's Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos. I'm super jazzed about this trip. Send me an email. I send you the info. john.mercure, MERCURE, @WTMJ.com.
It's like being trapped in a cage. And I know, that sounds dramatic, but your breathing triangle problem has got you trapped. And once you're freed, you're going to be able to live the life that you're missing out on. Now, this can simply mean experiencing the true pleasure of breathing freely. It will mean better sleep and more energy. And the worry of this problem any more affecting your life is going to be gone. Because in almost every case, when Advent has solved a breathing triangle problem, it's a one and done. Because we're not in the business of delivering Band-Aids. We want to fix your nasal breathing problem for good. We don't want you to be a lifelong patient. We want you to be our next success story.
Isn't it time you break free from that cage? Take the next step. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
Time for WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports desk. How about the Bucks? They've won 5 straight and 8 of their last 10, including last night's rout of the Heat after arriving in Milwaukee about 2.5 hours before game time. Damian Lillard scored 29.
They were telling us on the plane we got to head straight to the arena, so we landed. Everybody got in their cars, and we came directly to the arena and tried to, get into our routines pregame. And we did what we could, We did our scouting report and everything on the plane. They handed it out. And we came out here, and our minds was just right.
The Bucks head west to Los Angeles later today. They'll take on the Clippers on Saturday. And a big night of college basketball. 10th-ranked Marquette takes on Villanova for a 6 o'clock tip. Hear that game on 94.5 ESPN. And the Milwaukee Panthers are at Northern Kentucky. You can hear that game on 101.7 The Truth, also beginning at 6.
Checking out the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. We have a new crash that popped up just minutes ago. I-43 south at Highland Avenue. Right shoulder is blocked because of this crash. Traffic not too heavy right now, so it's moving along okay. This is off to the side of the road, and it's a spot that doesn't have a lot of room off to the side. So if traffic picks up, this could become a bigger problem. But right now, we have a couple vehicles off to the side because of a crash. I-43 south at Highland Avenue.
Sun ain't shining for now. Increasing clouds throughout the day and a high of 19 degrees. Slight chance of flurries tonight and a low of 17. Sunny on Saturday, a high of 34. Sunny on Sunday and a high of 27. Back into the upper 30s on Monday. 14 degrees and sunny in Milwaukee, approaching 12:09.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Matzek and Jessica Tighe.
Well, good to be back after vacation and a couple of sick days here, right? The trip back from the Dominican Republic. Nothing Dominican Republic related, but just a little under the weather as my daughter was starting to catch it, whatever it was, toward the back end of our trip. That was a long flight home for an 8-year-old who was experiencing the symptoms she was experiencing. So she's still dealing with it. I'm on the back end of it, through it, I think, and my wife is now dealing with the aftermath.
Oh, man. It's no fun to be sick, period, but it's definitely no fun to not feel well while you're on a plane.
No, that is like, you just feel trapped. Like nothing is comfortable about a plane ride anyway, unless you're laying down, which is not often the case. But yes, it's difficult to find comfort when you're not feeling well on an airplane.
Can I take you back to Thursday, January 16th for a moment?
Sure.
Greg sends a video to myself and to our producer, Gina, as well, as we are getting ready to go into the deep freeze here in the Milwaukee area and really across Wisconsin. We all can't forget it. It was cold, cold, cold. You know the video that Greg sends us? Do you remember this?
Was it me standing in the sand with water, like just pouring over my feet?
It's this very relaxing video of his feet in the sand, and then slowly the water comes up and just washes over his feet.
Yeah, that was me. Well, Gina told me to send pictures.
Can't watch that.
Not tropical ASMR while we were in polar vortex, but I appreciate it.
Well, I thought he wanted to be there with me. I thought it would help.
Oh, it was funny. I loved it. Very amusing. It looked very nice, and it was calming. The sound of the water, always calming.
Well, very nice trip. Very nice to be back. And we're on top of some big stories here as we hit 12:10 on WTMJ.
It's now at noon on Wisconsin's Midday News.
U.S. troops are on the way to the southern border now that President Trump has ordered them to patrol the area. Meanwhile, the military is spearheading deportation flights in military aircraft. ABC's Mary Alice Parks has the breaking news today.
The Department of Homeland Security routinely has deportation flights, so we're not sure yet whether there's actually more people being deported than usual, but they definitely look different. These flights look different because now they are using military aircraft and getting support from the Pentagon to do them.
When I was scrolling through X this morning, it's something I typically do, just looking for story ideas, seeing what's new, what's popping, what's around right now. I saw pictures that the White House press secretary had just tweeted out. They show a military plane. There's actually two of them that she tweeted. They show a military plane and men with their ankles shackled together and their wrists handcuffed walking towards the plane. And most of the men, I kind of just took a quick glance at it first, and then I zoomed in to kind of just get a better feel for what was happening. Most of the men wearing jeans and hoodies, some of them wearing Crocs on their feet.
Number 2, President Trump's nominee for Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth faces confirmation vote tonight without unanimous support from the Republican Party. Senators Susan Collins of Maine and Lisa Murkowski of Alaska have said they will be voting against Hegseth. ABC News senior political correspondent Rachel Scott is on Capitol Hill.
Hegseth can only afford to lose 3 Republican senators. Murkowski and Collins make 2. We're also going to be watching Senator Mitch McConnell tonight. He could be a wild card in all of this, but either way, Republican leadership is very confident he has the vote.
Senate Republicans can afford to lose one more vote to get Hegseth's confirmation over the finish line. So here's what happens. If the 2 no votes remain no votes and everybody else says yes, all good, right? Hegseth somebody else comes out of the woodwork, then maybe you got an issue, right? But J.D. Vance, former senator, now vice president, will be called upon to break a tie. So you're looking for a couple of votes to really kind of throw this off kilter, but it doesn't appear to be much resistance in getting Hegseth through, even though there's not unanimous support.
Every vote matters. Well, there's so much talk about artificial intelligence right now. You hear it every day. I feel like there's a new story. But what's the next big thing in AI? Looks like it's agents to book a vacation or make your dinner reservation.
OpenAI is unveiling its AI agent called Operator, a virtual assistant that can go on the internet to order groceries, fill out forms, or shop, being marketed as a time saver that can self-correct when it makes a mistake and can return control to the user if it gets stuck. OpenAI says it's partnering Operator with DoorDash, Instacart, OpenTable, StubHub, and others. So far, AI agents have not been great, sometimes embarrassingly bad.
See,
All
right
right.
there, as soon as he said it could get stuck and then, it will self-correct. I just feel like if you're worried about this AI agent possibly getting stuck, it doesn't take long to do it yourself.
It really doesn't, but you can also do ChatGPT. Like if I went to ChatGPT right now and said, find me an itinerary flying from Milwaukee to Australia. I would also like to see Melbourne, Tasmania,
It'll
and
do
New
it for
Zealand.
you. Yeah.
It will come back with an itinerary in a matter of moments.
And I think that's different because you could kind of use it as guidance or a recommendation, right? But the thing about like booking your dinner reservation, I just feel like,
Yeah, that's easy enough.
I'll do that
Just
myself.
handle that on your own.
Yeah, and I already do that. They mentioned OpenTable in there. I like using OpenTable. I know a lot of people like to use it because you can get points. Then you can redeem those points for gift certificates. To be honest, I think I've only done that once. I just have points racked up in there. But I like the ease of it. If the restaurant isn't open at the time, you can go into it and just, boom, make your reservation. You're good to go. You can also tweak it if you need to. I don't need a bot to do it or an agent.
Well, now I'm hungry. And our next segment is probably going to push that even further. Another high honor for a local chef. We've got a cool story coming up for you. It's 12:15.
Throughout history, some people have been born into greatness because of their name or family. Others gained greatness because of their actions. On Wisconsin's Morning News, we celebrate everyday heroes, the John or Jane Doe who had no idea when they woke up one morning they'd be saving a life. Everyday Heroes, Thursday at 6:40 on Wisconsin's Morning News. Presented by Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living, transforming the culture of care.
Hey, thanks, Eric. Greg Matzek here. I want to tell you about my friends at the Hounds and Tap. It's in Menominee Falls. Boy, now is a tough time for your dog. And you know this, especially if you have one dog at home. Just any bit of socialization is difficult when it's so cold out. They hardly want to go outside. You're struggling to find ways to keep your dog entertained, and they need to be entertained. They need to burn off a little energy. I'm telling you, the Hounds and Tap is a fantastic resource. Just to get out of the house. You can go hang out, catch some food from a food truck maybe, or a drink and watch the game. Bring your dog. You know there will be other dogs there. Your dog can socialize while you sort of hang out with your dog and others. Or maybe it's a day of boarding or an overnight trip. You want to get away? You can rely on the Hounds and Tap for overnight care and doggy daycare and grooming. Really a one-stop shop. But I'm telling you, such a great resource here, and especially in these challenging months. January, February, and even into March, which can be kind of wet and dicey. It's the Hounds and Tap. It's in Menominee Falls. It is the go-to place. Absolutely go there as often as possible with our dog to get his nails trimmed. And we love just hanging out. Great people, great staff. It's the Hounds and Tap in Menominee Falls, where every day is a play day.
Ready for a win? Well, it's your year. At Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee, you could win over $2,000 in free play every month all year long. Just play your favorite games and you might take the stage in the It's Your Year game show. 25 winners each Thursday. There's $300,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs this January. Yeah, we think it's your year. More info at paysbig.com. Must be 21 years old to play.
How much does it cost to talk to Gruber Law Offices after a serious accident? It's free. Yes, free, as in it won't cost you anything to speak with us. There's never a fee until we win your case. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
SemperFiRoofing.com.
Just announced this week the semifinalists for the James Beard Awards. Every year, they honor the best restaurants and chefs across the country. The owner of Amalinda in downtown Milwaukee, Chef Gregory Leone, is a semifinalist for Outstanding Chef, and he joins us live in the studio today. Congrats, Chef.
Thank you very much.
I know this is not new for you, which... kudos. I mean,
Thank
that's
you.
huge.
But it's still pretty awesome. It always feels like the first time.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so for those who aren't familiar first, can you kind of explain the James Beard Awards? Because these are incredibly prestigious. Is this something you've thought about your whole career?
Absolutely. This is their 35th year, I believe. And, you know, I like to explain them as the Oscars or the Grammys of the food world. So They recognized, excellence in cooking and food, chefs, service, wine service, new restaurants, new bars, pastry chefs. They have a bunch of different categories.
So how does it work from a judging standpoint? Like you have to get on somebody's radar at some point. How does that happen?
Usually at the end of the year, they do, I like to call it a casting call. So like customers and employees can submit the name of their chef or the name of their restaurant for whatever category. And then after that, I don't know what happens. I'm assuming there's a secret dark room in New York City at the James Beard Foundation, and they all sit there in like dark robes, and they go through all these applications, and then they narrow each category down to 20, I believe, 25. And then between now and April, which usually was between now and March, they extended it to April, will all be semifinalists. And so now there's secret judges who come into your establishment to eat your food. And then I'm assuming that they interview people, and then they narrow it down to 5. And then from April to June, then they send more judges, and then they decide who wins. I'm guessing. I know that they do. Once you make it to the finals, I know you get secret judges. I don't know how it happens between now and yeah, it's kind of the first 3 years. I was like, oh my God, who are the judges? Keep an eye out. You know, we have to list. Like my poor host, I had a host quit last year, like 2 days after. 2 days after the nominations came out, because my sous chef was talking to her, and he's like, we need you to cross-reference and look at this and look at that. She's like, I can't deal with this, and she quit. So now I just stopped worrying about it. You know, we like to feed everybody and treat everybody the same way. So a judge is going to get treated great whether we know it's them or not.
Were you eyeing the people coming in, wondering if it was a secret judge? Because it's open where you guys are. You can see out to everybody.
You know, I kind of, but it just never dawned on me. So like the first year after this, so they have like these, what they call, I think, temporary judges, who each region has a governor, and I'm speculating. The governor picks taste judges, I think is what it's called. These are the ones that go into the restaurants. And so they get to go to the event. And so it's funny because I go to the event and I'm like, what are you all doing here? Because these are all regulars and friends of mine. And then I started looking back and I'm like, oh yeah, you came in on a Thursday at 5 o'clock by yourself and sat at the counter, which you never do. So hindsight is 20/20.
That is interesting. I think we had Derek Mosley in to talk about this not too long ago, right? Yes, the judge.
The judge, he was one.
And he got to go out, I think, to New York for the whole grand celebration.
Chicago.
Was Chicago?
Yeah.
Okay, and he talked about the culinary feast and magical experience that was.
He was a judge 1 year.
I would love to be a judge. That's awesome. You've been nominated in the past.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at the chefs who have won in your category, now you've been nominated in different categories as well this year for Outstanding Chef, which is a huge category. What have you noticed about the people in those categories around you? And have you taken anything away from the people who have won to hopefully use that and win this time?
I will be completely honest with you. I do not look and see who else is on the list.
You don't even know who's on the list?
No, because I will just spin out of control.
So wait, so I can't tell you
And
that?
you can tell me, but so like the first year I knew it was Karen Bell and I and Dane Baldwin who ended up winning. And then I did look to see who the
other Milwaukee chefs.
The other Milwaukee chefs.
Yeah.
This was my first year. After that, because I spin out of control sometimes in my head. And
well, let's let people know, just because if you're listening, I want to let you know how big of a deal this is. So you are in a category with a handful, people probably don't know the names of all these chefs, but just as an example, you've got chefs from New York. You've got chefs from San Juan.
Boca Chicago's he's nominated. I know that. I did see that.
Yeah, there's actually a couple from San Juan. Chicago, New York's in there a couple of times. Austin and D.C. as well. Los Angeles. So these are
Milwaukee.
big cities, big time chefs. And this is a big deal for you, but also a big deal for Milwaukee as our food scene changes.
And it would be great to win for myself, but I think it would be great to win for the city and for my staff. I want to make it to the next round because I want to take my staff with me because I think it would be great. They work so hard, and I keep telling them for the last 2 days, this is not just a reflection on me. This is a reflection on them too, because I can't do everything in that restaurant, nor do I. So I want to shout out to them because they're amazing, and it's because of them that, great things happen to all of us at that restaurant.
I don't know how long, but if you maybe 15, 20 years ago were to Google search James Beard winning chef in Milwaukee, it might say page not found, right? But I feel like there's been such
that, or
traction.
Maybe it would have said Sandy D'Amato, because I think
at Sanford?
He's the first Wisconsin or Milwaukee chef to win. I believe. I could be wrong, but Yeah, no, I was talking to somebody about this yesterday. I think for the size of Milwaukee, we have so many amazing and talented people here cooking. And the person was asking me, why do I think that is? And it's like, well, we're close to a metropolitan area, like a big city like Chicago. It's affordable. It's so affordable to open a restaurant here. And there's people who appreciate good food. And there's not a saturation either. I don't think it's like Chicago or New York City. It's like, oh, here's another Spanish and Portuguese restaurant.
It's interesting that you say it's so affordable to open up a restaurant here. I guess that's in comparison to the other
New
big
York
cities.
or San Francisco it's still not cheap. But
Right. How does being nominated impact your business? Do you have chefs who want to come work with you because of it? Do you see reservations go up?
we do see reservations go up. I have two friends, chefs, who are coming to cook with us. I have one's cooking this weekend. She is Alicia Donna. She used to be my sous chef in Oakland, California. Then I have another friend coming at the end of February from the South. So it impacts us mostly money-wise. Like, we're packed. It's great for the service because they get to make some extra money in a period of the year that normally would be slow.
So cool. It's such a great thing for Milwaukee and yourself individually. Now, all of a sudden, it's traction to the restaurant, but not only locals who know how great your food is, but now it's a destination place, right?
I hope so. A friend of mine texted me on the way here, and he says, I just applied for this job for like a catering chef for a private flight plane company in Memphis, and he was talking to the lady who he was interviewing with. And he said, yeah, I worked at Melinda. And she's like, oh, I love that restaurant.
Oh.
She's like, I know that restaurant. My sister lives in Milwaukee. I go visit her all the time. So it does get us some traction. It gets us some notoriety. It gets our name out there, which, again, hopefully translates to more people coming to see us and then some more money for myself.
I'm kind of curious. I was checking out the awards, and this year they have some new awards, 3 new categories. Oh. It's Best New Bar,
nice.
Outstanding Professional in Beverage Service, and Outstanding Professional in Cocktail Service.
Oh, wow.
So there's a theme there, but I was curious, just your thoughts on adding those categories, because I know at your restaurant, you have a lot of craft cocktails. I once had one that had some great rum and cane sugar, and that was about it. And it was so yummy. I took it down quickly, and I ordered another one.
Was it a caipirinha?
Yes. Yeah. And then the bartender said, I just want to let you know there's a lot of alcohol in there.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, wait, you're telling me now?
Yeah.
It's a mojito without soda.
They're pretty strong because you're using also cachaça, which comes from Brazil, and I believe it's like super strong. I don't drink, so I've never had it, but...
Well, let me tell you, it's amazing. But I was curious your thoughts on these new categories, because cocktails, and whether it's NA or has alcohol in it, is... important.
Yeah, no, I'm glad to see everybody in the restaurant gets recognized, everybody who works hard. When it first started, I think it was very chef-centric. I think it was also very male and white-centric, and I think they've done a really good job at diversifying. I would like to see the same categories that they have for chef or pastry chef, because right now they just have outstanding pastry chef. I wish they would recognize pastry chef by region.
Okay.
Because they work really hard.
All right, so you're going to win it this year, right?
I'm trying, so we'll see what happens.
Well, we'll come back after you win. Bring the award.
I'll come back
a big trophy? You get a big trophy?
It's a medal.
A medal?
With James Beard's face on it.
Okay, there you go. Well, we'd love to have that in studio with you next time.
I will come back and show it to you when I win.
Deal.
Please do. I love it. That's the owner of Melinda in downtown Milwaukee, Chef Gregory Leone, a semifinalist for Outstanding Chef when it comes to the James Beard Awards. Awesome stuff. Congrats.
Thank you very much.
It's 12:27 coming up next. Local news and national headlines.
Just like most cars and trucks can't run without oil, no person can function without food. That's why through March 1st, the Auto Dealers of Metro Milwaukee is contributing $1 from every oil change to Feeding America, Eastern Wisconsin. Every dollar provides 3 healthy meals. Over the past 14 years, Adam has provided more than 2.6 million meals to people in southeast Wisconsin. And now the need is greater than ever. Find a participating Adam dealer near you at adamm.com.
Team up with the Brewers for an epic company event this season. Gather your crew of just 15 or more for a Brewers group outing and trade weekday meetings for a fun-filled day at American Family Field. Featuring options like tailgate spaces, all-inclusive areas, seating blocks, and more. Plus, Brewers ticket representatives will make planning your event easy, as they'll be your concierge while you book your event. Start planning your company outing today at brewers.com/groups.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for Tri-County Contracting. You want to know the price of a new roof on your home today? Well, it's easy. Just go to TriCountyContracting.wi.com, click on the Instant Roof Quote button, put in your address and email, click the Show My Roof Price, And there you go. 0 wait time. There's your quote. You shop online for everything else. Who says you can't shop online for a new roof? Tri-County Contracting at WI.com. It's worry-free roofing, siding, and windows. Tri-County Contracting, WI.com.
Hey, thanks, Eric. Getting hungry now after all these food segments. How about Palermo's, Wisconsin's hometown pizza? That might be after lunch, but maybe you're starting to focus on dinner. Why not keep it easy and delicious with a Palermo's? Screamin' Sicilian, yeah, that'll be on the table this weekend. I can assure you that. How about urban pie, or you got Connie's? You've got really a variety of different flavors and slices for every appetite. It is Palermo's, made in Wisconsin for over 60 years. That's right, 60 years of doing it right here in the state of Wisconsin. In Milwaukee, making the best tasting frozen pizza you are going to find. Easy, convenient, Screamin' Sicilian. This week at Sendik's, you can get your favorite Screamin' Sicilian for just $4.99. Did I read that right? $4.99? $4.99 for a Screamin' Sicilian at Sendik's. That is hot. That might make your dinner choice even easier. Screamin' Sicilian, thin and crispy tonight. Loaded breadsticks for the game this weekend. You see where I'm going with this, right? Try them all. Over to Sendik's to get their hands on Screamin' Sicilian for $4.99 now through January 28th.
Now, about your house. Eric Brown is the president of Siding Unlimited, your contractor for new windows, roofing, siding, decks, and a whole lot more. He knows about your house. So what do you know, Eric?
Siding is what pops on your home. Clean lines, beautiful accents, and wonderful colors can make your home really look amazing. Homeowners are always looking to add curb appeal when buying new siding, and a well-installed product from Siding Unlimited will definitely deliver a grand appeal. There is so much more to gain from replacing your siding other than the curb appeal you're already seeking. There is so much value in having new siding with low maintenance. Just an annual cleaning with the hose is all you really need to do. You can't get much lower maintenance than that. The process of replacing siding gives homeowners a fresh start, a new understanding knowing that we can peel back the old stuff and get a real in-depth inspection on the walls on your home and the structural integrity. How has the home performed over the past 20 years? We'll see it all when removing the old siding. There's a high percentage your home is missing the most important factor in siding a home, and that's a working water barrier. Many homes built in the 1990s and prior don't have a water barrier beneath the siding, and homes that were built in the 90s that do have one probably have a water barrier that was installed incorrectly. New siding replacement assures us that we install the water barrier correctly and protect the home moving forward. Our process always includes adding insulation board to the wall. This gives you a water barrier underlayment and additional R value, which is an energy coefficient, so warmer walls, adding more value to the project than the expected curb appeal. As the new siding goes back on, we know your home will be ready to manage water well into the future and look amazing doing so.
Eric and his crews at Siding Unlimited are your go-to contractor here for siding and also replacement windows, roofing, and decks. Take the next step. Check them out at sidingunlimited.com. Siding Unlimited, siding and a whole lot more.
It's 12:31. I'm Greg Matzek. This is Wisconsin's Midday News. It's Friday, January 24th. Your top story, freezing conditions for fighting a deadly fire.
I'm Jessica Tighe, a country star coming to Camp Randall.
Clouds on the increase this afternoon, a high of 19 degrees. Slight chance of flurries tonight, a low of 17. Saturday looks pretty nice, mostly sunny, and a high of 34. 15 degrees and sunny in Milwaukee at 12:32. An early morning mobile home fire leaves one dead in Waukesha. Firefighters responded just after 3 a.m. to heavy smoke and fire coming from a home near Elder in Grandview. Crews removed one person from the home. They died at the scene. One pet was also rescued and is in the care of the Humane Animal Welfare Society of Waukesha. Firefighters continued to put out hotspots for several hours in freezing conditions.
Schools in the Wisconsin Heights School District are closed today after a potential safety threat. That district is in the Matzek, which is northwest of Madison. In an email to staff and families, a district administrator says they closed out of an abundance of caution while working with local authorities.
Another big-name musician is making a pit stop to Camp Randall.
Morgan Wallen will play Camp Randall this summer. Wallen's I'm the Problem tour will stop in Madison on Saturday, June 28th, along with Miranda Lambert and Ella Langley. News of the show comes a few months after Coldplay announced it was playing the stadium in July. That show's already sold out. This is the first time since 1997 acts this big have played Camp Randall. That's when U2 and the Rolling Stones made separate stops. Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
Historic instruments are coming to the Milwaukee Youth Symphony Orchestra this fall. They're the next host for Violins of Hope, a collection of string instruments that Jewish musicians and others targeted by Nazis owned and played during the Holocaust. Here's the CEO.
Many of them are playable, and you will hear them. You'll hear them play their stories. And some of them are not. They are held only in exhibition. So the residency will include performance and exhibition where you can get close to the instruments.
The instruments have appeared in residencies around the world for more than a decade.
Well, how can you tell the difference between the flu, COVID, and RSV? It's an especially important question for infants. 2/3 will contract RSV in their first year of life. Dr. Andrea Klein-Tilford with the National Association of Pediatric Nurse Practitioners tells WTMJ.
There's lots and lots of secretions associated with RSV. There may or may not be a fever with RSV, which is a little bit different than flu and COVID, which is more tightly associated with the fever as well. And then really that going down into the lower airways causing that wheezing.
Dr. Klein-Tilford says the only way to know for sure is getting an RSV test at a clinic or hospital.
Flurries in the forecast, but no significant snow. So where does Milwaukee rank this season when it comes to snow? TMJ4 meteorologist Brendan Johnson explains.
11.9 inches so far for our season. That is about maybe half of what we should have seen already to date. And then it's around a quarter of our total annual snowfall. So we're running behind, but we still do have more than half of our snow season to go.
Your complete WTMJ 5-day forecasts coming up in just minutes.
Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 12:35.
Some musical overtures have become more famous than the operas and ballets they introduced. This week on the Lutheran Hour, Dr. Leo Sanchez says John the Baptist is like an overture to Jesus, but John doesn't claim the spotlight for himself. Dr. Sanchez tells how John became the living voice sent by God to prepare the world for Jesus' lordship and salvation. This week on the Lutheran Hour.
Sunday mornings at 6:30 on WTMJ.
A buck doesn't buy much unless you're spending it at Griffin. For just $1 over cost, you can buy brand new tires from us. This is Jim Griffin. Any major brand, $1 over our cost with free tire repair and lifetime rotation. We'll even show you the invoice to prove it. Our only requirements, we put them on for you. Buy one or the whole set. The dollar deal from Griffin. Milwaukee, Waukesha, Fort Atkinson, and Jefferson. Griffin. The buck stops here. The deals on tires don't. That's Griffin.
Not combinable with other tire offers. AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Elizabeth and John bought their starter home 8 years ago, BC, as in before children. Now, with 2 elementary school-age kids, they wanted to make a move to the suburbs for a bigger home with more yard. But they didn't know if or how they could buy their next home without selling their current one. Fortunately, a friend who was a multi-time AccuNet client connected them with us, and we soon determined they could, in fact, afford to buy without selling first, which was a big relief to them and their real estate agent. Armed with an AccuNet rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval, it still took several weeks to find the right home for the next chapter in their life, but I'm happy to report that Elizabeth, John, and their boys opened their presents on Christmas morning in their new home after closing just a few days before. Whether you're buying your first home or your next home, go with the pros who have all the tools and know-how to make your home buying experience as smooth and successful as humanly possible. Get started with your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval by clicking on the blue button at AccuNet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
Time for WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports desk. The Bucks have won 5 straight and 8 of their last 10. They'll hop on a plane here this afternoon, head to Los Angeles to play the Clippers on Saturday night. Big night of college basketball. 10th-ranked Marquette takes the home floor against Villanova for a 6 o'clock tip. Hear the game on 94.5 ESPN. And the Milwaukee Panthers, exciting team to watch there at Northern Kentucky. Tonight, hear the game on 101.7 The Truth, also beginning at 6.
Let's go ahead right now and get you an update on the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time-saver traffic. We do have one crash that is still out on the system, but it looks like it's going to clear in a couple of minutes here. I-43 South at Highland Avenue. Right shoulder is blocked due to a crash, and traffic is picking up there, so hopefully that clears soon. Everything else, really just disabled vehicles out on the system. That's been the story all week. The cold, cold weather A couple cars didn't want to start. Other cars started and then didn't want to go anymore. I-43 north at Hampton Avenue East. Right shoulder blocked there because of a car that's broken down.
Sunny right now. Clouds on the increase later this afternoon. We'll top out about 19 degrees. A low tonight of just 17. Saturday looks pretty good. Sunny with a high of 34. Mostly sunny on Sunday and a high of 27. 38 your high under partly cloudy skies on Monday. 15 degrees and sunny in Milwaukee at 12:38.
A big update for the Urban Ecology Center in Milwaukee. It's about to reopen its Washington Park branch. It just underwent a significant renovation and expansion project. The director of the Washington Park branch, Terry Evans, joins us live here in the studio to reveal the changes and what's on tap for the grand reopening. This is an exciting new chapter. Thanks for being here, Terry.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
So what does this renovation allow the Urban Ecology Center to do?
Wow, it allows for us to extend our programs, to expand our programs within that Washington Park area and across the city, actually. We'll be able to increase all of our programs and be able to have a stronger reach into the community.
You talk about those programs. What are they? How expansive are they? And who do you target with those programs?
Yeah, so we're an environmental center / community center. So we're a combination of the both. We have a neighborhood environmental education program, which focuses on kids in schools. So we work with private schools, public schools, and bringing those classes into the park to have an education to learn about science and the environment as well. But then we also have opportunities to work on the land and do restoration work. But then we also have another opportunity to do volunteering. So there's so many ways that you can connect to the Urban Ecology Center, whether it be through volunteering, whether it be through our events that we have throughout the year, or whether it be just through our NEAT programs. And then we also have PEEP, which is our preschool environmental education program. So we have a lot of different areas. And then we also have, I'm just running everything off, is our community programs. And so that offers the whole community where they outreach. We work with like the Boys and Girls Club. We work with different organizations across the city to provide environmental programming.
How do you think connecting with nature can truly impact a person?
Yeah, I look at the mental aspect of it in the mental piece, but then there's also the physical piece. So both of them combined together can really help to create a stronger community, a more viable community as well. Our hashtag is connecting people in cities to nature and each other. So that's what we strive to do, is access to green spaces, whether it be in our parks or whether it be in other places in the community. We want to work to activate these green spaces. And our green space is the wonderful 134 acres of Washington Park, which is really beautiful.
It's a historic park in Milwaukee. Now you're expanding your footprint. Do you imagine it'll also allow you to expand those programs, to be able to get to more schools and, more groups of people than ordinary?
Yeah, right now we work with 13 to 14 schools. Over the next 3 to 4 years, it'll be up to 33 schools.
Oh, wow.
And so we usually, and with the NEAT program, we work within a 2-mile radius. In that Washington Park area, there's over 50 schools in that area, public and private schools. So there's still a lot of people. There's still a lot of people that we want to reach, families and kids. And a lot of people think that the Urban Ecology Center is just working with kids. We work with adults as well. So we do a lot of research. And with the restoration we're bringing in other animals that had left the park due to not having anything to be able to eat or to be able to survive in that whole ecosystem. So those animals are coming back. And what better way to see is like a coyote in the park, a deer in the park. You didn't see those things in the past. There's over 150 different species of birds that come through Washington Park. And so it's great for our birding activities that we do as well.
I'll be honest, I'm trying not to see the coyote. The deer and the birds, yeah, I want to see those. The coyote, you can stay over there, buddy. It's true, though, you mentioned, it's not just for kids. This was a couple years ago. I got my husband a membership for the Urban Ecology Center as a Christmas gift. Yep. And one of the cool things, I don't know if you guys are doing it now, but one of the neat things that was a benefit to it was you could rent, and especially for us in the winter, you could rent cross-country skis or snowshoes and that sort of thing. And we did that a handful of times just to get out and be able to, we don't have much snow on the ground right now, so a lot of people are itching for that. I'm not sure if you guys do that anymore.
Yeah, we don't necessarily have the lending program, but we still offer free opportunities for the community to be involved and to be able to use that equipment that we have.
But it was just such a great way to get out in nature, so we really appreciated that. But going back to this grand reopening, this big renovation, what did you guys all do there, and what can people expect as far as the changes?
Yeah, whoa. Well, they can expect 2 levels. One, before at Washington Park, it was just one level. Now there's a second level. that has an observation deck that overlooks Washington Park, which is beautiful.
So nice.
And to see that lagoon in the summer and to even see it in the winter is just it's just beautiful altogether. We went from, 15,000 square feet to I think 28,000 square feet. So you're talking a big footprint that we have now. But then again, it's going to allow us to have more partnerships, to create more activity in the building, to be able to collaborate and to be able to have more things happening in the building as well as outside the building. Because again, this building is a great, beautiful building, but it's our vessel into the park. Mm-hmm. And it's how we're able to tell the stories of the animals, of the land that's in our park, and the professionals that we have working at our organization. They're able to really do a better job in doing that.
So what could I do if I show up with my daughters and it's a spring afternoon, we're looking for something to do, we come downtown, we go to the Urban Ecology Center. Who will I be greeted by, and what sort of path could you set us on? Yeah,
so we have wonderful staff that you'll be greeted by. You 99.9% of the time, you're going to get a smile and get offered a cup of coffee.
There you go.
Maybe
that's
some popcorn.
a good start.
So that's a great start. But we have self-guided activity bags to where you show your ID, and we hold onto your ID while you take the bag out with you and your family. You can go birding. You can find out about the different plants that are within the park. You can do like little mini field trips on the land that we're doing restoration work on. You can go fishing. And none of this stuff costs money. That's the great thing about it is you can have an experience. We have days where you'll be able to get on the canoes and go out into the lagoon. We have pedal boats that we got from the lakefront. So there's so many different things you can do. Or it's just about you can do a bike scavenger hunt and come down and just kind of walk through the park or do a foot one or a bike one. So there's so many different opportunities to be able to do things at the Washington Park. And if you just want to be there in the building, just sip some coffee and look out at a beautiful view, we have our big room. That's our belonging, inspiring, and gathering room. And it's almost like a living room. And so that in itself is like a beautiful space to be in.
Sounds so lovely. Some people are going to want to come and check it out after all that. You sold it. The Winterfest event coming up. What's on tap?
Yes. That's exciting. So that's our grand opening, Saturday, February 1st. So from 10 to 11, we'll have some officials talking, and we'll be just saying a few words. But then from 11 to 2, it goes down pretty much. And so we'll have ice skating. If we do get a little bit more snow, we'll do some sledding. We'll also have s'mores. We'll have carriage rides in the park. So you'll be able to hear some of the history of when the park was a zoo, the band shell, those different areas you'll be able to hear about through the carriage rides. We'll have plenty of food. We'll have face painting. We have Discovery World, the library. We have quad graphics coming in and having a table, an activity table. So it's about really touring the building and seeing what the building's all about. And this is our first piece of so much life in that building, because what activates a building is people. What activates that building is people, families, adults. And that's what we want to do, bring all of these people in on Saturday to have that first activation piece.
Well, that's your energy. You know what I mean? That's your energy, and it's also your advertising. You put on a great event. It's a great time to relaunch, expand all that's new. And people from the community take that and spread it to others in the community. Exactly. And now you got something that's sustainable.
Yeah, definitely. We've been in Washington Park for 17 years. Out of 17 of those years, I've been with the Urban Ecology Center for 10 years. And since my first day, one of my first things I did that first day was my supervisor said, hey, we need to start having community outreach sessions to talk about what a new building looks like. And so now in my 10th year, and this is happening,
What keeps you there? What do you love about it, the Urban Ecology Center?
My community and the being able to offer something new to that community and a chance. We're a learning organization. So every day in some way, shape, or form, we're teaching. And that's the best thing about it, is to see little kids as well as adults' eyes just brighten up if they've never been on a canoe, if they never gardened in a garden bed and grew their own vegetables. We have an orchard in Washington Park. So these are things a lot of people don't know about, and they write about it. But then a lot of the direct community are going to pick these apples off the tree and take them home. And all this stuff is edible. So that's the great thing about the Urban Ecology Center and being part of it, because I get to have that half environmental field piece, but then half community center. So we're meeting the community halfway, because that community has a lot of needs. And so we want to provide those resources. But then we also want to have them come to the space to get that mental healing and being in the park for the physical healing and all of that as well.
So fabulous. Urban Ecology Center is hosting the grand reopening of its Washington Park branch on Saturday, February 1st. Mark it on your calendar. So much fun stuff to do in those carriage rides. Those are going to be popular. There's going to be a line for that.
Yeah, I hope so. And so much life. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That's Terry Evans, the Washington Park branch director from the Urban Ecology Center. We appreciate your time today.
Thank you. Thank you.
1248 on WTMJ.
I'm Dr. Jasmine Zapata, Chief Medical Officer for Community Health at the Wisconsin Department of Health Services. Every year in the U.S., about 21,000 lung cancer deaths are caused by radon, an odorless, tasteless, and colorless gas. 1 in 10 Wisconsin homes has high levels of radon. Does yours? Call 1-888-LOW-RADON or visit lowradon.org to learn more. Test, fix, save a life.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
Helping people and families seriously injured in accidents and standing up for victims to take the burden off your shoulders. WTMJ's Greg Matzek here at Gruber Law Offices. If you've been hurt in an accident, it really is just a simple phone call. Let Gruber handle the legal aspect while you focus on healing. That's what you want to do if you've been hurt in an accident, right? You can trust Gruber, one of the largest personal injury firms in the Midwest. They provide the best care, service, and representation. All top priorities at Gruber. They'll do it for you, like they've done for others in Wisconsin for over 40 years. 40 years of serving the public and giving back to the community. All very important to the folks at Gruber, locally known and nationally recognized. Visit their website, gruber-law.com. Also, make that call if you've been hurt in an accident. 414-276-6666.
Hey, business owners, are you looking to sell your business? I'm sure you have plenty of questions. WTMJ's John Mercure here. Join me for our latest Annex Wealth Management webinar. I'll be joined by Brandon Lehman and Brian Lamborn from Annex Wealth Management as we answer your questions. Who should you consult? And of course, when is the best time for you to sell your business? Sign up for this free webinar on Wednesday, January 29th. Text WEB to 855-616-1620 to sign up for the free webinar. Only here on WTMJ.
We are Outdoor Living Unlimited. We put cool stuff in your yard. Patios, decks, pergolas, outdoor kitchens, screen rooms, even in-ground pools. You dream it, we design it together, then Outdoor Living Unlimited installs it for you. OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
When you work at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, you'll be helping us help others. There are many that need our help, and we need your help to carry out our mission. St. Vincent de Paul is always looking for part-time team members. You'll get competitive pay, benefits, and flexibility in scheduling. So apply online at svdpmilw.org or stop by Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, or 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here, asking you to join me in October as my wife and I explore the magical kingdoms of Southeast Asia, from the villages of Vietnam and the temples of Cambodia to the friendly locals of Laos and the beachside resort in stunning, lively Thailand. I hope you'll join us for this unforgettable journey. Ancient and mysterious worlds of rural landscapes, bustling cities, and fascinating history in Vietnam. Explore the Chu Chi tunnels used by the Viet Cong. Experience a street food adventure through Hanoi and cherish the serenity of Hai Long Bay on a beautiful boat ride. Bangkok in Thailand, the beaches in Thailand, history, tradition, food. If you'd like more information on this great trip, send me an email. john.mercure@wtmj.com. john.mercure@wtmj.com. It's Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos. I'm super jazzed about this trip. Send me an email. I send you the info. john.mercure, MERCURE, @wtmj.com.
Well, the sun is out. That's the good news. Clouds will be rolling in eventually. However, we're not going to warm up too much. We're not going to drop off too much. We're sitting at 16 degrees. Our high today is 19. Our overnight low is 17. Tomorrow, bit of a warm-up. High of 34 degrees under mostly sunny skies. Sunday's high 27, going to be sunny. Back to 38 under partly cloudy skies on Monday. Looking forward to that. It is 16 degrees and sunny in Milwaukee at 12:52. A reminder, you can take us with you wherever you go. It's the Wisconsin's Midday News podcast. It's built by our good friends at Siding Unlimited, truly siding and a whole lot more. We've made it easy for you. Just text the word Midday to our talk and text line 855-616-1620. Midday to 855-616-1620. We'll send you everything back to your mobile device, but wherever you get your podcast, you can find Wisconsin's Midday News. Now time to celebrate another everyday hero. Every week, Eric Bilstad uncovers a story that you need to hear.
Wisconsin's Morning News identifies an everyday hero as an average John or Jane Doe who had no idea when they got up one morning that they'd be saving a life. Today we head to São Luís, Brazil. Olympic kite surfer Bruno Lobo was offshore at sea enjoying a good kite surf and testing a new camera he got. He's basically surfing on a board while holding onto ropes that are attached to a giant kite so he can glide and surf and jump waves, etc. when he heard something in the distance.
I heard someone scream, and then I recognized that was someone drowning, and then I did a turn with the kite, and I tried to help as soon as possible.
He sees a woman struggling to keep her head above water, and they're quite a bit offshore. She was swimming. She has no life jacket. He says he was surprised to see her that far out. So he jumps off the board, swims to her.
It was a very scary moment, so I tried to calm down her. I said to her to carry on my back.
Lobo gets her to hold on to his neck while he uses the kite to drift back to the board. Then he holds onto the board as they get all the way back to shore while she continues to hold on to him. He tells CBC News the woman was very thankful when they made it back.
He gave me a hug and said, "You saved my life," and she cried, and it was a very special moment.
The woman is okay and so lucky to be alive. And if you see the video, there's no one around. You can see it on our website. Just text the word hero to Siding Unlimited WTMJ Talk and Text line. It's 855-616-1620. We'll send it to you. At the end, Lobo did say something very interesting. He's obviously a competitor. He came in 7th in the Paris Olympics. He's a 2-time Pan American Games champion. But he said what happened that day tops everything else.
This is my biggest achievement. I can use this sport to save a life. So yeah, this is my biggest trophy for sure.
You're definitely a champion in our book, Bruno Lobo. Thank you so much for being an everyday hero. That's a trophy you can carry the rest of your life. Everyday Hero, sponsored by Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living, transforming the culture of care. Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
Eric always does a great job with that. Everyday Hero here on WTMJ. It is 12:56. It is the end of the week. Boy, long week for me, trying to get back in the swing of things here. One day work week. Part vacation, part illness. I know, I felt so bad.
One day.
Right, I was texting you on Tuesday, like, on my way back. Flight's looking good. Everything's on time. We'll see you tomorrow. I think it was a Tuesday some point. And he said, sound good, travel safe. And by the time I got home, I was like, something ain't right.
Yeah, something's wrong.
I'm
Something's
not going to be
feeling right.
I'm so sorry about that.
Well, we're glad you're back.
Well, I'm glad to be back, and thank you, as always, for always doing an incredible job with the show, you and Gina holding down the fort. But good to have the gang back together. We hope you have a great weekend. News is coming up here at 1 o'clock, then it's spanning the state. Enjoy the rest of your day here on WTMJ.
The Upswing is your place for commerce and community.
So President Trump has indicated that he's going to pursue aggressive tariff policies.
Hosted by Jeff Sherman.
How are many of the Wisconsin businesses preparing for potential tariff increases?
So really getting out there, doing your research, having a lot of options and plans to sort of diversify your supply chains. That's really the